Hey guys, let's continue the series on narcissism. Narcissism, projection, and how their brain is functioned, and in the personality disorders and narcissism, they can take no accountability. So I want to talk about projection, and I'm going to give you examples. So, projection is something that nearly all humans do to varying levels, but narcissists, overt or covert, do them to a level that is delusional because they don't know they're projecting hardcore. So, what is a projection? A projection is something in your conscious, you got your conscious, you got your unconscious mind. Your conscious mind is 10% of their brain. You say, but most of your brain and your life is run by your subconscious, which is 90 to 95%. So, within the subconscious lies the shadow, the trauma that's unhealed. And when we project, we we are there's something when someone projects, there's something coming up in their shadow. They're like, oh, I'm this. For instance, in a situation, I'm this bad person, and then you project out to them that they're the thing that you accuse them of, like, oh, you're the one, but actually it's in your subconscious, it's mainly a part of you, but you can't see it, it's your shadow. That's why I call it shadow projection. So narcissists do projection like nobody's business. They are masters of projection. And when a narcissist projects, they have no idea that the very thing they're accusing you of is deep in their subconscious and they do it 10 times worse. Because it's not like when a narcissist necessarily accuses you of something, they're not saying the truth. But when they project, and narcissists project a lot of the time, they are saying something that applies far more to them than you because a narcissist has no accountability. Their brain is gone. They can see others perfectly to some degree, but they can't take accountability for their actions because narcissists are riddled with guilt and shame and have been through a lot of abuse, often when they were younger. But there's so much abuse there, they made a choice to run away from the guilt and the shame and accountability of what we call feeling and healing. So their brain is gone. It makes them delusional. It makes them project. It makes them love bomb. It makes them highly manipulative, enjoying chaos and not peace, thriving on chaos. You take away a chaos away from a narcissist's life and people to listen to their false narrative story, they don't exist. They die. They need an audience to tell them who they are because the narcissist is just a set of false narratives and fake personalities. Getting a little bit sidetracked here. So I want to give examples of projection with my covert narcissist dad, who I grew up with. Very dangerous, the covert narcissist. So I've been thinking about this last night. Things that my dad repeats to me. I'm 38 years old now, but sorry, but all my life he's repeated to me that mildly triggered me more before, but now I get better with the triggers because I understand what's going on. I've matured, I've grown out those things. So my dad would say, we'd have a talk, and I'm just trying to reason with him with fluidity because I'm healing my narcissism and I've got much less than my dad. Like we said, we all have narcissism, but my dad put a load in me um, all my life and I'm healing from that. So I have much less, much, much less. And my brain is very fluid. And that's another sign of narcissism, a rigid brain that can't think outside the box versus a fluid. Anyway, my dad repeats the same things like a broken record. And one of his lines, classic lines, is when I'm just thinking fluidly with common sense when we're talking or arguing, it's not like I'm arguing with any stress, but he'll say, what you think like a 4 year old. You think and reason like a 4 or 5 year old. The amount of times I've heard my dad say this, at least a million, no exaggeration. It's the last 10 years, I've just heard it over and over again. Now, it's always confused me because I'm actually reasoning with fluidity and making sense, and I could never understand why he couldn't understand that. And the reason he's saying that is projection. because I'm actually being fluid and making complete sense. And he knows that in his unconscious. So my fluidity makes sense, just being reasonable and talking common sense hits his ears, and in his unconscious don't like it. So his unconscious comes out, gets triggered by me just being generally more emotionally smarter and less narcissistic than him, trying to reason with him, hits his subconscious, and he projects out his subconscious by accusing me of the very thing that he's doing. He can't understand it in his conscious because I'm reasoning like an adult and less narcissistic and making too much sense and fluid. Hits his subconscious. His conscious can't make sense of it. Can't make sense of it. But his unconscious tells him, projects out, I'm the 4 or 5-year-old. And what's going on there? He has the brain, all narcissists do, have the brain of a 4 or 5-year-old, retarded because of unhealed trauma, because they can't accept responsibility, accountability for nothing, carrying a heavy load of shame and guilt. So my dad projects out when he tells me all the time, I'm reason like a 4 or 5-year-old. And then it can trigger you, depending on where you are at the journey and your healing narcissism that they gave you. Because they're accusing you of the very thing that they do 10 times worse. They're the ones with the problem, not you. Satanic inversion. Narcissists are riddled with satanic inversion delusion. Like me saying, you're brown and I fucking hate you. But I'm brown. And you're white. Okay, so that's one. And another projection my dad does is when I'm talking and reasoning or just remembering memories, or trying to defend myself sillily against my covert narcissist dad, I'll even peacefully, I'll talk about my brother or sister or other people, and then my dad chimes in and says, you always blame other people for your problems. Sometimes I'm not even starting a conversation with dad saying that to blame other people. I'm just talking and thinking through fluidly things, just common sense things, or sometimes. But anyway, my dad will say, you always blame other people for your problems. Now I understand what that is. That's a projection, because that's exactly how the narcissist brain works. They cannot accept responsibility for their actions, and they blame other people. So they accuse you of doing the very thing they do. They don't know that they do it. In a conscious mind, it's in the subconscious. In a conscious mind, they don't do that. But the subconscious of the narcissist never lies and projects. When a narcissist projects, he's telling the truth about himself, but accuses you of it. The narcissist always tells the truth when they project. Narcissists in my life have called me evil. Narcissists in my life have called me narcissistic, highly narcissistic, spiritual narcissistic. All projections of themselves. The subconscious of them knows the things they accuse you of, they have. So they blurt out through their conscious mouth an accusation of you that applies more and completely to them. How delusional. Let's all feel sorry for narcissists.